Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video. This is the paid request. This is for Bobby, and I want to apologize for Bobby for the lateness of this video. Honestly, it was because I was trying to look for the film because I have the film. I know I did, and I can't find it, so ultimately I did watch it online, but I know I have the film and I can't find it. So, my dumbass. But it was a paid request to watch a film called Gamer and review it. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. So I did see it online. I'll have to, maybe during the move, because I haven't seen the film in a long time, like quite a few years. So I think when I moved, I think some stuff got lost in the shuffle, left behind. I don't know how. But because a lot of craziness happens during that time, so I have to get it again sometime, just Blu-ray or DVD, whatever. Anyway, Gamer is a film from Neveldine and Taylor. For those who don't know, that is the two guys who directed Crank and Crank 2 with Jason Statham. They directed that terrible Ghost Rider 2 Spirit of Vengeance with Nicolas Cage. I don't mind the first Ghost Rider. The second film, no. And I think that was the last film they did. Like, they disappeared. For a while, one of them was going to do a Twisted Metal movie. That never happened. I think they worked on something else. I can't remember if they produced it. I'm not familiar. But the two of them haven't really directed much of anything for a long, long time. Probably because, Ghost Rider 2 didn't do well. This movie didn't do well. And when you have enough box office flops, you're out of the picture. Usually that's the case. But yeah, Crank and Crank 2 are two of my favorite Jason Statham films. And so when they're making this, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty interested. The trailer featured Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams, which is actually in the movie. It stars Gerard Butler, who I do like. He got famous for the movie 300, which I don't mind the film, but I enjoy Law Abiding Citizen. I don't mind the ending like a lot of people do. A lot of people hate the ending to that. I don't mind it. I still enjoy the movie. He was in the Olympus Has Fallen franchise. He was in this disaster film that a lot of people hated, but I didn't mind it. I actually thought it was a lot of fun, called Geostorm. It's dumb, but it's pretty dumb, but I thought it was pretty fun. Like, the era of Independence Day, type of big budget disaster movies. I thought it was fun. I still haven't seen Moonfall, but I know a lot. It seems like everybody hated that movie. But everyone hated Geostorm, and I like Geostorm, so who knows? Maybe one day. Anyway, he stars here as Cable. So that's his real name, but it's his persona, meaning kind of like the Running Man, and a little bit of what they would do later on in that movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. But I remember when I first saw this, it reminded me more of The Running Man. And The Running Man is my favorite of those type of, whether game show or other type of show, and prisoners are put into these circumstances. The Running Man will always be my personal favorite of that. And The Running Man beats this film quite a bit. But I thought this film was still an entertaining, fun ride. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I can understand, and I'll get to the plot in a minute, but the way these directors make their films, Neveldine and Taylor, the very seasickness type of direction, extremely shaky. For some reason, when these guys do it, I can get behind it because I see this kind of video game energy, game fuel filled drive from these guys. I kind of get caught up in it. I see where they're coming from. But even I can say in this movie that some of the seasickness, I'm like, tone it down a tad. Just a tad, please. And if you're bothered by the movie because of that, I can't blame you. But pretty much it takes place in the future where Michael C. Hall, who's on that TV show Dexter as the lead, he is kind of a Mark Zuckerberg, but a little bit of more attitude. He's a guy that created these big games. One is called Society, where people will get paid to be controlled by other people. And it's kind of like a living version of The Sims. Remember that game, The Sims, and Sim City? Not Sin City, Sim City, all that stuff, The Sims. This is a living version of that. I thought that was interesting. And people go, well, that would never happen. People, if you pay someone enough, there's a lot of people that will do whatever the fuck you want. That really is the case. And so these folks are in that game, and they're controlled by people, by interfaces. If you pay enough money, you can control this person and do what you want. And then on the flip side, you have slayers, which is prisoners on death row. They're given a chance to compete in these games, and someone will control you. And if you get through 30 games, you get a pardon. And Gerard Butler is, I think his real name's Tillman, but his character is Cable, and he allows himself to be controlled by this, what he comes to find out, 17-year-old kid, and these actual environments of warfare. And it's one of those things where, like I said, kind of like Free Guy. A little bit like Free Guy, although the difference is all these people are real, while Free Guy, they're all fake in the system. For those who saw Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, it was a film I didn't mind for what it was. The prisoners are controlled like avatars. And there's other folks behind those avatars. So, as Gerard Butler describes it, he's the trigger, while this person is the eye. So, like, there's a point early on that Gerard Butler hears someone behind him. He's like, turn me around, please, turn me around, turn me around. And then the kid does turn around in like trying to be cool. And that's what I mean. There's some interesting ideas that I thought were kind of intriguing for this kind of movie. Like, you have certain people that will take a chance to be, in Grand Theft Auto, you have people who you'll punch or kick or run over, and they're kind of in a set pattern. That's kind of the thing. Some people without weapons, and if they survive one time, they get a pardon. Like John Leguizamo, he's in the film. He becomes one of these guys. Where other people like Gerard Butler, he's a trigger, but it's hard to explain. I'm doing such a shit job explaining it. The trailer tells you what it is. So, like I said, Michael C. Hall is the bad guy. There is another group led by Ludacris, who's in the Fast and Furious movies. Kind of like in The Running Man, where you have a group that fights the system and they want to get rid of the system. And that's what I mean. There are bits of this that did remind me of The Running Man. Some cameos, like John D. Lancey, too, from Star Trek Next Generation. He appears, but he's only in like one or two scenes. Tira Sedgwick is a reporter, and you find out she has ties to the rebellion group led by Ludacris. And what made the film work for me is, number one, I'm a fan of Gerard Butler. Number two, it's unapologetically R-rated. In terms of language, in terms of violence, people's heads get blown up, people get shot, one person gets shot, gets both their foot blown off, blood squibs, unapologetically R-rated. Number two, is very fast-paced. When the end credits rolled, it's only like an hour and 20-some minutes. It's pretty fast-paced. Number three, like I said, if you did seasickness from the cinematography, I perfectly understand. You're right. But I enjoyed, maybe that's why some people enjoy the Bourne Identity films. To me, maybe this is just much more of a brutal, hardcore style, and because something about it I could deal with it, even though most of the time I couldn't in other movies. Maybe I just forgave it more easy than other films because I enjoyed the subject matter. I enjoyed the ideas. Like during the Society, there's two people that collide, and while this person's crying, they're forced to laugh, even though they have an injury, because of the asshole behind it. And it's about how these people who control others, it gets to a point that they're desensitized to the people they're controlling. And you look at the way the world is nowadays, how people are desensitized, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter, and how they'll say the worst things of the worst. You wouldn't do it in front of their face, but you do it behind their back. And how certain bits of control here and there. How much of that do you partake into your psyche before you get truly desensitized to it? And as, I don't want to say raunchy, but as vulgar as it is, sadly, I can see a lot of this happen. I can see, okay, the 70-year-old guy, he has a room with all this stuff, and there's porn, and there's these ladies, 19, 20-year-old ladies called cum dumpsters who show their tits, but then they want a piece of the action for him to sell his avatar. And just a lot of little moments that worked for me. Like I said, the Society, the Sims like thing, two people get hit, and one, even though she's hurt and she's crying, but she's made to laugh because of the asshole controlling her. There's a bit where Gerard Butler is able to save a person, but because that thing is on a set path, like a lot of video games, it goes right back in and gets hit by a truck. And, I thought Gerard Butler had a nice look on his face. Just the... like, fuck, man. That type of reaction. And like I said, there's bloody gunshots. There's practical explosions. I like... Despite how schizophrenic the direction is, I do like some of the set pieces. Like, there's this deep scene where there's these two like bulldozer type of vehicles coming at him, and he shoots at him, and the way they flip over, all done practically in camera for real. And I love that they put Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams. Just very rarely you'll hear a song in the trailer, but then it's featured in the movie. This is the case, so it's a little meaningless thing, I'm sure, but I do appreciate when the music in the trailer is actually in the movie. Just kind of nice little thing there. And about, this also has it's not as crazy in the humor as Crank and Crank 2. I kind of wish it was. But there's still a little bit of that. Like early on, someone's controlling one of the soldiers and makes him do the tea bag like you would back in a video game, like Call of Duty. Like I said, when the action scenes happen, they're pretty fast-paced and fun. How much do I want to do? Oh, there's other cameos. Milo Ventimiglia, who played Rocky's son in Rocky Balboa, he's in this as the character named Rick Rape. Terry Crews is in the film as a guy who Michael C. Hall puts in there into the prison, into the games, wanting to take out Gerard Butler, only Terry Crews is not controlled by anybody, so he can do stuff a bit faster. And you find out why they want to take out Gerard Butler, what's going on, what really happened. Like I said, to get more into spoilers, it is a fun film, it's a fast-paced film. I did like the cast. Terry Crews... It's kind of hard for me to take him seriously as a bad guy because I'm so used to him in movies like White Chicks and him doing the things with his chest. He'll make like his man boobs move. Even somewhat comedian in the Expendables films, those commercials, the shampoo commercials. So it's hard to take him serious as a hardcore evil bad guy. What was it? I think he was in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. I got the things that make your knees weak. I got the fries that would come between your thighs, or whatever the. That's right. I've seen it so many times as a silly guy that just would have preferred maybe someone. I like Terry Crews. I probably would have preferred someone else that's a bit more intimidating. Just because, again, of his past and future work. Like I said, tone down a little bit on the schizophrenic shakiness, at least a little tad. Also, the third act, I thought there were some questions that were a bit confused by. Just super spoilers. Starting now, you find out that Gerard Butler has a daughter. You find out that he was framed for a crime he didn't commit because Michael C. Hall tested this whole thing of controlling someone on Gerard Butler and made him shoot his friend that he didn't want to, and he was the scapegoat put into prison, so now they want to shut him up. Why it took him this long to shut him up, and why you let him play for 27 games, why you didn't shut him up from the get-go, I don't know. Or you could have just said, you go in and shoot him. Like, if he could control Gerard Butler, why didn't you control Gerard Butler to aim the gun at them, and then they shoot Gerard Butler, and then there you go. So, if you could control Gerard Butler at that point to make him shoot his own friend, I don't control you, they aim your gun, and then you don't get shot. Hey, he tried to kill us. Self-defense. Like, why was that never the case? It feels like if you could control these folks, and even Michael C. Hall controls them later on in the film, at any point in prison, he could have done that and control. So why not do that? I don't know. Why even try to send Terry Crews in there? Just have it where the times when the kid's not controlling him on the game field, when he's in the actual prison. Michael C. Hall could control him anytime. Take the guard's gun. You guard shoot him. Self-defense. So I didn't understand that. I didn't understand. Is the little girl also controlled? Because there's a daughter character, and at the end, Michael C. Hall has this kind of goofy thing where he makes all the prisoners tap dance to his own ego power trip. And it's cool to see Gerard Butler kick everybody's ass. That was fun to see. And Michael C. Hall is pretty much talking about how this is all leading up to him telling people what I want them to buy and telling people what I want, how I want them to vote. Which, hell, I mean, that's prevalent nowadays, telling you what to buy and who to vote. So it has the wife character and the daughter character, and he's trying to make Gerard Butler kill his own daughter, but the daughter just stays there and doesn't move. Is the daughter controlled as well? If so, who's controlled the daughter? If not, daughter, why don't you move, duck, hide, run? Or is the daughter being controlled as well? She just standing there going... Even though a guy has a knife on her, she's like... Like, have her be scared, frightened, even if she's being controlled, frightened, scared, saying something, saying, Daddy, don't. Nothing. I thought that was really strange. Like, why is she so sedated? But she's not sedated. Like, why? And then at the end, the guy, 17-year-old, helps get control of Cable, of Gerard. Gerard fucks with Michael C. Hall and makes him get stabbed. And then the bad guys just let him go, saying, hey, you don't need us. Just pull the plug. Okay. Nice work, Cable. And they walk away. And I'm like, wait a minute. You guys were just followed orders to kill all of Ludacris's people, or all except 2 of them. You just willy-nilly let them go, and I guess because they know now that the whole world is watching. So I guess maybe that's why, but it just seemed that even that seemed a little bit too easy. So it does have some questions and script logistics that you go, huh? That does hurt it a bit. I don't think it's as strong as The Running Man in terms of entertainment, but I think this is a fun movie. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think there are nice little bits here and there that show a bit of satire, and it definitely has a nice entertaining edge in terms of its violence and vulgarity that worked for what it needed to be showcased. Michael C. Hall, I don't know if he needed to have the southern twang, but he's having fun as the bad guy. He's definitely in a joyful mood. Gerard Butler, I think, works well as an action star. He doesn't always pick the best projects, but I do like him. Like, he's the best thing about Olympus Has Fallen, is him and his role, his performance. And I like London Has Fallen. I actually like the second one more. I don't mind the first Olympus Has Fallen, the first one, but London Has Fallen I actually liked a little bit more. And those are entertaining. Like I said, Gerard Butler really makes those films work. Although I did not like the third one, Angel Has Fallen. And now there's a fourth one coming out, or being made. I know it's not that one playing, but there's like another one. I don't know what the hell it's called. I'm like, do we need 4 of these movies? But at least the Gerard Butler's the best part of them. But you know what? I would like to see Neveldine and Taylor take another crack at direction. I would have actually been curious about their Twisted Metal. Maybe it'd be bad, but I would be curious about them trying that out. I mean, at least there'd be a lot of energy in it. Just maybe get some help from other people on the script. I still think their best films is Train and Train 2, but I thought this was a nice follow-up to them. It was fun. It was fun and entertaining. Gamer. And I liked it more than Free Guy. Free Guy I don't mind with Ryan Reynolds, but I like this more. But it's more my kind of movie. I know Gerard Butler got in a bit of heat because he said something about someone brought this movie up to when Free Guy came out, and it seemed like Gerard Butler liked it. He's like, I'm not sure about some of the way it was handled. Maybe it means like the stuff I'm talking about, the shakiness. But he said, yeah, I thought there was some interesting stuff in there, and I thought he called it underrated. I saw snippets of a written interview, but I couldn't find the full interview. Let's see if I can find... sorry, I got you here. Gerard Butler... But I was saying I know he got some flack because, it's like what's Free Guy? He didn't know where Free Guy is. I don't watch. I was hoping it was of the time that people would get it. I thought it was genius. He said it could have been executed slightly differently, but I really loved the commentary it was making on where the world was going, especially in gaming, sort of losing ourselves in that world and technology and man bonding machine. But I didn't feel people really did get it at the time. It didn't do amazing business. It's become a bit of a cult classic. But I didn't know about this resurgence. So I thought that was interesting. Like, he doesn't seem like he... I like to sue me. I like Deemer. I like Deemer as well. So, sorry about that. I should have had that up front before. But fuck it. I mean... There's long reviews of people shitting on the movie, so why not have a longer review of just someone like me praising the film a bit? And there's some stuff that's pretty, like, uneasy about the film. Like, the guy controlling Gerard Butler's wife is this big fat slob of a guy. Just, that's kind of how you imagine some of these assholes that just... Let me put it this way. There's some assholes online that you imagine being some of these guys and how they treat people, react to people, and sort of that disassociation. Like I said, I think there's a bit of commentary in there that's disappears under the crazy action, but it's still enough there to warrant some kind of measure that shouldn't get completely swept under the rug. And like I said, if you like that Crank 2 style action, it's worth the watch as well. So that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys later.